outlawing it. Did that stop robbery? No. But did we give up trying to enforce it? No. We still try to invoke it when we can. So I say the same thing here, but I also, as I said earlier, I believe there's enough honest people in there. You give them the right paperwork, you'll get hidden support. There was a woman one time, in this one case, she went all over the LA court in downtown Los Angeles looking for her case. It was missing from the clerk's records. Nobody knew where it was. She spent the entire day hunting for that case, and near the end of the day, she found it. It was on the judge's desk. She didn't go in there, but somebody went and looked. They found it. And that was illegal on the part of the judge, because that was supposed to be in the custody of the clerk. At the end of the day, she was out. She was walking down through the aisle, and the employees were coming out. They were all in the aisles. And there was this little clutch of women that were talking. They were clerks, and they were talking among themselves. And as she walked along, one of the women separated from that group and went over and said, "Are you Mrs. So-and-so?" And she said, "Yes, I am." She says, "I just want you to know how much we appreciate what you are doing." And then she went back. You see, that clerk couldn't openly help her. But behind the scenes, there is support. Okay? In another case, I suggest you be very friendly toward these people. You never know who your friends will be. Now, this is practicality, not law. Okay? Huh? They're human, yes. Yes. They may not understand it. You know, they operate in ignorance too. They got their routines to follow. They think they're right. But here's what happened. This actually happened. This woman, I had told her always be friendly with everybody. So anyway, she went down to the court, and she was always friendly with the clerks, always told jokes, traded personal stories, you know, how are the kids, kind of thing. And over time, she developed a rapport with the clerk. One day she went in the clerk, and the clerk, she had an order, I don't know, against the judge or something. The clerk said, "I can't file that." Well, why not? Well, she says, I can't, it's not proper. So she was ready. She said, "Well, here's a court order ordering you to file it." Okay? She was prepared. The clerk said, "Well, that's not a proper court order." She says, "You know, if you're..." And they were friendly, okay? There was no animosity whatsoever between these two. They were just talking and trying to mutually solve a problem. And she argued for 4 hours with that clerk, going back and forth, saying she had the authority, and the clerk saying no, and the clerk told her, "Look, if you want me to actually do something, your only recourse is to go up to the appellate court and get a court order from them telling me to do it, and then I'll file it." So she was kind of at a dead, kind of dead in the water at that point. So she went home at noon, called me on the phone, and we discussed it, okay? And I said, "Well, we're going to have to think our way through this one, what to do." So that happened on a Friday. Saturday morning, she went back in the days when they had Saturday delivery at residences, she received a letter from the clerk. The clerk invited her to bring the papers down and she would file them. And she pointed out that section 1368 or 1326, I think it is, of the United States Code, Title 28, the Civil Code, okay? Federal Rules of Civil Procedure. It was that particular code that said that the district court, the United States District Court, had original jurisdiction where over a clerk or any federal employee to order that employee to perform a duty owed to the plaintiff. Well, what happened to the defendant? The statute specifically addresses the plaintiff. Well, what happened is this. The plaintiff owns the court. The clerks are the plaintiff's employees. Okay? A court is defined as the person in suit of the sovereign. The defendant is an outsider. If the defendant has a beef with the employee of the court, he's got to go up a level higher to get the order to order the lower court to do the job. But when you're the plaintiff, you own it and you have direct. Well, we never dreamed that section was there. We knew we were right in principle, and it was the clerk that found it for us. Okay? Boy, was that a real gold mine. So, never underestimate the power of your adversary to be your friend. Okay? Be nice to these people. There was in Thailand, I believe it was. You remember, some of you people remember these Buddhist monks that were dousing themselves in kerosene and setting themselves on fire? Had quite an impact on the government and international rules. So what happened, you see in Thailand, it was real simple how they solved problems. If you were a problem to the government, you disappeared at midnight. No problem. Okay? Well, here's this. These Buddhist monks were causing all kinds of trouble internationally, and everybody knew who was responsible for these Buddhists doing this. It was their leader. He was encouraging his people to do it, and everybody knew it. And this guy went around the country with a minimum protection. And nobody touched him. Nobody hurt him. And it was the wonder of the reporters of that area, the newspaper reporters, you know, and TV and so forth. Why didn't this guy disappear at midnight? That's what happened to everybody else that was that troublesome. Well, the reason was very simple. Everybody liked him. The guy was just simply so likable, even his enemies loved him. Oh, he was a pain in the neck, but they didn't want to hurt their buddy. You know, he was a nice guy. And that's how he survived. So, be sure when you're not conducting court business, you know the minute you turn your back, your adversary would love to stab you. Okay? You know that. They'll pull every trick. I've had an attorney call down and claiming to be me, and take my motion off calendar. And then I show up and the judge isn't prepared or anything else. Okay? They do all kinds of dirty tricks. They use wrong case numbers. Anytime you get a paper from somebody, check it carefully. That case number might be different. Okay? So, what I found was that be nice to everybody. You're a buddy. I had one attorney screaming at me in Orange County Courthouse in Santa Ana. I heard the echoes bouncing off the end of the wall at the end of the hallway. Okay? He was yelling at me. He was really out of control. And I was nice to him. Of course, that made it matter. But generally, you're nice to these people. So I just want to tell you that always be nice, even to your enemy. You'd be surprised what it'll get you. Let's see. Well, that kind of is a big summary of what I would like to say. Let's see. Is there any quickie here? Yeah, I guess. Oh, well, notice and demand.